There's a lot of history of fights that should have happened that didn't happen, corruption, pay-per-view, closed circuit. I mean, like, it really went away, yet it's been around for 100 years. So if we can make a UFC, a boxing, think of that, really a closed league. We're signing 200 fighters right now, consistent fights, weight divisions that you understand. We're already on Paramount Plus, and we're about to announce some international deals. This could become the next behemoth for us.
And
How close are the international deals?
Very.
Very. Well, we should be announcing something next week or two.
Congratulations to Netflix.
No.
No. Okay, we're going another way. I like that. I like what you're doing.
The host floated the idea that their new broadcast partner abroad might be Netflix. I was thinking something more regional, perhaps Sky Sports.
Paramount is not necessarily a global streaming platform, though it still is a very big one.
Though citing Conor Benn, of all people, poaching him from Matchroom after all the work they put into that fighter lends special emphasis to the UK market. And who is going to be Zuffa's broadcast partner there? Almost immediately, I thought, Sky Sports.
Who better than Sky Sports?
It was just the other day I was talking about Matchroom's migration from Sky over to DAZN, which may have seemed like the better deal at the time, but being on DAZN in some ways has inhibited Matchroom's growth, since they can only advertise their events to already existing subscribers. Anybody who doesn't already have DAZN isn't going to know what's going on the platform, whereas Sky is a little bit different. There are a lot of people, they might be on there for the Premier League, or snooker, darts, any number of different sports, not just boxing, to where you get to advertise your content to a more diverse audience and draw in casual attention. So if you're talking about a broadcast partner in the UK for Zuffa, Sky Sports would be ideal.
Given that Zuffa just signed Conor Benn, he would become the face of Sky Sports Boxing if that's the way the cookie crumbles. But of course, the broadcast element of it, the business of it, isn't really what has people's attention right now. It's the betrayal.
I blame myself because I forgot it was boxing, you know? And I was like, I just felt that the loyalty that we've shown would never ever put us in this position. And I just felt that I never really needed to push Conor Benn to sign a new contract previously. And I probably could have got him to sign a new contract previously. But like I said, I blame myself. I made a mistake because I misjudged the character. And again, I'm not going to hang him out to dry. And he will say, well, it was a big offer, right? But, you know, when I received the email from his lawyer, I texted him and said, I think we should have a call. I think you, for everything I've done for you, I think I deserve a call. And he said no. And I was like, man, fuck. I can't believe it. And, you know, I don't know what to say other than I just, you know, felt that everything that we gave him, the loyalty that we gave him, the support we gave him would be enough to talk it through or just, you know, get close to a number but it wasn't really the interest. So very, very surprising, very, very painful. But just another moment in life that you live and learn from. I don't really know what to say, really.
These fighters will break your heart. This is a familiar theme in the sport of boxing, and you've watched this story play out in various degrees already several times. When it comes to Mick Hennessy, it was Tyson Fury that broke his heart.
Because he wasn't always one of Frank Warren's boys. A long time ago when he started out, he was with Mick.
When Conor Benn started out, he was with Eddie. Now, he's with Zuffa, revealing details from Eddie Hearn's sit-down interview with IFL TV that basically up until a few days ago when he received correspondence from Conor's attorney, he was under the impression he didn't have to push him to sign an extension. That the loyalty was implied, and after all the work they'd put in for Conor Benn, standing by him through his toughest times, they didn't have to worry about him. Eddie was wrong.
They were wrong.
And now the Brits are reacting. Ribs UK, friend of the channel, said Conor Benn just signed to Zuffa. The rat and traitor is getting destroyed in his Instagram post pic of Eddie. For switching to Zuffa Boxing, we the UK fans ain't taking this lightly, as Eddie defended him tooth and nail, and this is what he resorts to: snake in the grass.
I wondered about this. How would the Britons react to Conor Benn betraying one of their own, someone who stuck his neck out for him?
Emma Willis, friend of the channel, said Eddie knew. Watch his IFL interview. It's even worse. Conor has lost everyone's respect. To which I responded, as a Brit, Emma, does this hurt public perception of Conroy? To which David Gold X responded, as a Brit, I can confirm it absolutely does. Emma responded by saying, Eddie, Conor, and Matchroom have been trending on Twitter since it was announced. 99% are against Conor, but it's good PR for Eddie. That's the thing about betrayal and being betrayed. It can only happen from within. It can only occur when you trust someone, and Eddie Hearn trusted Conor Benn to not better deal him. That was his mistake.
They did a good job of keeping quiet on Conor Benn entering free agency, to the point where even they must have forgot. Nobody in the media had any inkling that Conor Benn was free to leave, free to go, after the Chris Eubank Jr. fight, because I didn't hear anything about it after the fight.
Then how did Dana White and Nick Khan know? How did Zuffa find out? You see the image here? Who do you see off to the far right?
Keith Connolly.
The same Keith Connolly who advised Edgar Berlanga and Richardson Hitchens to leave Matchroom to enter free agency. Connolly is the Trojan horse, operating against Matchroom's best interests even when Matchroom has done a good job promoting his fighters.
If he smells a better deal and he can get one...
Managers are gonna manage, that's what they do, but that's no excuse for Conor Benn to go along with it. That is, it does not absolve him of responsibility. Now, I say it all the time, if you want loyalty, get a dog, because in the sport of boxing, everybody is looking to better deal everybody. That's the way it is. Eddie Hearn forgot that.
This is a bombshell story. It's all anybody is talking about right now, and this is a big signing for Zuffa, but careful that Conor Benn's public perception didn't just nosedive as a result.
The byproduct of Conor Benn testing positive for a banned substance ahead of what was supposed to be his initial meeting with Chris Eubank Jr. made him the villain to a lot of people. The bad guy, and Chris Eubank Jr., the good guy.
Going into the first fight when they actually did fight.
Now, when Conor Benn wins the rematch, the reception was not as warm. The people not as accepting. There's a legitimate argument that his star was ascending. But he wasn't the darling with every Brit. And it's important to understand that, especially now.
Because now they think he's an even bigger scumbag. Now they think he's a traitor. He's a backstabber.
Based on the reactions I'm seeing, and what the Brits are telling me on the ground, they're letting Conor Benn have it, so that the next time they see him, I don't get the impression they're going to be cheering him on.
Nope.
Veteran promoter Lou Dembella, reacting to all of this, said boxing's different these days. Since when is a one-fight deal a promotional deal? It's a one-fight deal. You aren't exactly building anything. Until Mannix reported otherwise, you'd think from all the hoopla that it was a long-term thing. One fight doesn't make you a promotion's poster child, and it is a bit puzzling to me, but all parties could still make a score.
I get what Lou is saying, but what you have to ask yourself is, what does Matchroom have to offer Conor Benn to come back? And based on the betrayal, do they even want him to come back? Eddie was visibly shaken by all of this. I mean, he's not hiding it. He's hurt.
I don't get the impression that Eddie Hearn and Matchroom's door is still open for Conor Benn after this one-fight deal is over. And even if it is just a one-fight deal, read in between the lines, Lou.
I texted him and said, I think we should have a call. I think you, for everything I've done for you, I think I deserve a call. And he said no. And I was like, man, fuck.
Even if Conor Benn's current deal with Zuffa is just for one fight, I don't think he left off with Eddie Hearn that way because he had any intention of coming back. Moving forward, by all accounts, he's a Zuffa fighter. He's a Zuffa guy. for better or worse.
If it were just about doing one fight, one big one with Zuffa, he could have informed Eddie, let him know what kind of money they're offering, and I think Eddie would have understood. That is, if it were Conor Benn's intention to keep working with Eddie moving forward. But if Conor didn't want to speak to Eddie, it's because he knew what it looked like, and he knows what it was. It was a betrayal.
It was a knife in the back, simple as. Think about Anthony Joshua's one-off deal with Netflix to box Jake Paul on that platform. It's not like he kept Eddie Hearn in the dark about it the way Conor Benn kept him in the dark about this. So if Conor kept him in the dark, it's because Zuffa's plans for that fighter extend beyond just one fight, if all goes to plan.
He's not coming back, and I don't think Eddie Hearn wants him to.
Elsewhere in the world of boxing, and what is turning out to be a very busy weekend for the sport, full of bombshell stories, Floyd Mayweather, at 49 years old, announces pro comeback after Mike Tyson exhibition. Mayweather also announced that his comeback will take place through an exclusive deal with CSI Sports, Fight Sports, an opponent, date, and venue, and broadcast information will be announced in the coming weeks.
CSI? Who are they?
I still have what it takes to set more records in the sport of boxing, from my upcoming Mike Tyson event to my next professional fight afterwards. No one will generate a bigger gate, have a larger global broadcast audience, and generate more money with each event than my events, Mayweather said in a pre-prepared statement, and I plan to keep doing it with my global media partner, CSI Sports, Fight Sports. Mayweather retired in 2017 after knocking out Conor McGregor in a blockbuster bout. He finished his 21-year career with a record of 50-0 and won titles in 5 weight classes. In recent years, Mayweather is engaged in a series of exhibition matches.
He's broke.
He's not doing it for the love of the game, people. He's broke, and the exhibition matches are just not high stakes enough to keep the lights on, to pay the bills. So now he's forced to come out of retirement, and that's what it is. Mayweather was in negotiations in October for a rematch against Manny Pacquiao. At the time, Pacquiao said they were almost in agreement, but the aged fighters went their separate ways.
No, they didn't. I heard earlier this week those talks are still ongoing, and the potential fight date for their rematch is tabbed for September 19th, with potential involvement from Netflix.
Money Mayweather turns 49 years old next week, and the announcement arrives on the heels of ongoing reports that he's in financial trouble after earning an estimated $1.15 billion during his career. Business Insider published a comprehensive story in December titled "Inside Floyd Mayweather's Lavish, Debt-Filled Post-Boxing Life," and investigated a series of financial issues he's reportedly dealing with. Mayweather is also entangled in a series of legal matters. He sued former broadcast partner Showtime in February to recover $340 million in misappropriated funds. He is also being sued in a pair of separate matters that came to light this month. One for alleged unpaid rent totaling $330,000 for a luxury apartment in Manhattan, and another for an unpaid jewelry tab totaling $1.4 million. 3 minutes after a press release announced his comeback, Mayweather encouraged fans on social media to enroll in his branded credit card. He didn't mention anything about his decision to unretire.
Because he's broke.
Richard and Craig Meal, co-founders of CSI Sports, Fight Sports, are bullish they can make a mark and some money, with Mayweather leading the charge. We'll see about that. Floyd will once again continue to dominate boxing with the biggest audience and the highest gross events of all time, and we are proud and privileged to be able to do so with our global team at CSI Sports. Richard and Craig Meal said in a shared statement, "We look forward to even more announcements that will excite fans and continue to build the sport in 2026. Richard and Craig Meal claim that Fight Sports reaches more than 190 countries, with the United States distribution through Fight Sports branded block in more than 80 million households.
Yet I've never heard of them before today.
They also stated that CSI Sports controls global rights to the video library of HBO World Championship boxing events and is also the exclusive owner of the USA Tuesday Night Fight series Acquired from Comcast, NBC Universal, they also own thousands of hours of content featuring Mayweather, Mike Tyson, and Oscar De La Hoya, among others, signing Floyd Mayweather to unretire after he captures another worldwide audience with his Mike Tyson matchup highlights our commitment to providing our global audience with the most high-profile fighters in the sport, said Richard and Craig Meal.
He's broke.
See, even if things were going according to plan, with Floyd Mayweather's lawsuit against Stephen Espinoza and Showtime, it could be months, maybe even years, before he sees a dime out of that. And I don't think he's going to see a penny.
Nope.
Otherwise, he would not be unretiring at close to 50 years old to have more professional boxing matches? Against who? See, this is a guy who in his heyday, in his younger years, was already described as being boring. So what is he gonna look like at close to 50? If people thought that he was boring in his early to mid-30s, what is he gonna look like in his early 50s?
Because he's got a birthday a week from now.
I want to say that Floyd unretiring is a big story, but it seems to be happening in the background of Conor Benn's betrayal of Eddie Hearn. But I want to say it's a big story, him unretiring.
Though in some ways you knew that he would have to, given his financial woes.
And in other ways, I don't actually think he ever retired, because at the rate that he was scheduling quote-unquote exhibition matches, it's like he never retired. It's like he never really went away or stopped selling you boxing matches. The only thing that changed was the kind of boxing matches they were. They went from pro boxing matches to novelty fights, now back to pro boxing matches, which is not something someone has to do if they're financially stable. So that if Floyd Mayweather is now unretiring, it's likely to maintain the lavish lifestyle and the overhead that comes with it.
So that he doesn't go completely under, because rich people don't go broke the same way that broke people do. Takes a little longer. He's still got a chance to make some money. I don't know how much. Perhaps enough to pay off the $330,000 he owes in rental arrears for that condo in Manhattan, and the $1.4 million he owes a jeweler in Miami for a bunch of watches.
He's got an expensive lifestyle. Everywhere he goes, he's got security with him. Every single one of those bodies is somebody you have to pay. And in spite of this bombshell announcement, it still feels like this is not a big enough story. Maybe it's because of what I've been telling you, that Floyd Mayweather, in spite of being the top earner in all of boxing, he was not well liked. And a lot of the reason those fights sold so well is because Floyd had good dance partners that had fan bases of their own. So when you put them all together,
you generate a lot of money. The mistake is thinking that all that money is being generated off the back of Floyd's name.
Not exactly. I remember over 5 years ago when news broke that Mike Tyson would be unretiring to box Roy Jones Jr., there was an electricity in the air. So many people happy to see Mike Tyson come back, even though he was so far removed from his prime. I don't feel that electricity with this announcement.
When was Floyd ever as exciting as Mike?
Read between the lines. Floyd is just doing what he's got to do to keep the lights on, just like the rest of us.
That's what it is.
It's only jarring because we thought he was this smart and savvy businessman. That's the bill of goods that they sold us. That was all a lie.